Well, hello there, good evening and welcome to Apex Online Racing here in Season 18, Round 3 at the Shanghai International Circuit for the Chinese Grand Prix. My name is Alex Lillier, a reserve commentator standing in tonight for the two full-time F2 commentators who are unavailable, so I'm riding solo all by myself in the commentary booth here, and we've only got 14 drivers instead of 20, so it should make my life a little easier to keep an eye on all these guys. We've got a few drivers out there on the circuit at the moment, so we might as well bring up what tyres they've got on at the moment. We'll do best for now. We'll bring the telemetry and the sector times up as well. As we're on board here with the Williams of ILRT, Louis already out there on the soft tyres, which is a bit of a surprise. I'll be expecting most of his guys to try and pump in their quickest laps on the medium tyres and then at some point in the race switch over onto the hard tyres as well. Unsure what the weather is going to be. Obviously here and now you can see that it is dry conditions here at China. The race might be a bit different as well. We'll have to wait and see. Louis abandons that lap on the soft tyres then, as Vasta Racer currently goes into provisional pole for that Racing Point car on a 1:32.474. Most of these drivers I've unfortunately never had the opportunity to commentate on, so apologies in advance if I accidentally butcher some of their names. Our Surface in the Haas car now takes provisional pole on a 32, completely eclipsed already. A 32.354 by Nolan Lopez, and that's the first times come in early on here in qualifying. You might as well refresh on the drivers and constructors standings. So Nolan, who we're looking at here, currently holds the championship lead on 40 points, a first in Australia and a third at Bahrain. Second place, and not here tonight, is Ash Best. He's sitting in second on 26. And we've got Ruben VG, who I believe also isn't here tonight. He's in third on 26. And then we've got VSR Marquez, who is in fourth on 25 after a great win at Bahrain last week. And then we have Drez in fifth place on 24. So as for the team's championship, Toro Rosso lead the way on 66, with Ferrari second on 38, Alfa Romeo in third, tied for third with Renault on 31, and then in fifth place is the Haas team on 23. On board with the Alfa Romeo driver here, and we'll jump on board as he negotiates this long right-hander here in sector 3, coming up to the second DRS zone along this 1 kilometre straight. There is the line, beeping the air, finger on the button, and that top speed will ever increase all the way down to the braking zone. You want to leave the braking as late as possible, but be careful to not snatch a brake on that right front. Kisses the apex on the entrance very nicely, allow the car to run a little wide there through turn 15, then up to the final corner, turn 16, a left-hander. Be careful not to cut it or run wide, which he's done so, maybe an invalidation. We'll see once he crosses the line. Indeed, he does cross the line, a 30.845 it would have been, but he picked up an invalidation at the final corner, if not before. So he's going to have to go again on those soft tyres if he wants to set a lap. Nolan Lopez currently at the moment on provisional pole on those hard tyres. Kiski in the Mercedes coming up into third place as well. So half the field then have already set a lap time. We've got just under 12 minutes left of the session. So Kiski just coming around then to complete a lap. So we'll try and find someone else in to take a lap on board. If Louis back out there at the moment as well. Pam Drez, I think, is just starting his lap then. So we'll take a lap on board the Ferrari driver going into turn 1 and then turn 2. Ever tightening all the time. The car will have a tendency to try and understeer wide. It's up to the driver to get it in. Now through 3. Very clumsy little left-hand corner there. Straighten up the car to get the power down and kill the wheel spin through 4. Now a short little straight up through turn 5, which is a kink to the right. Over to the left-hand side. Heavy braking for turn 6. A key overtaking opportunity for some of these drivers tonight. Drag the car wide and then move it over gingerly to the right hand side, trying not to scrub off as much speed as possible through the left hander at 7, just feathering the throttle in 6th gear and then switching straight away through the right hander at 8. Keep it over to the right as much as you can, because the double left handers of 9 and 10 jump right up on top of you. Then drag the car a little wide, but it's one full turn really through both of those corners. Another short shoot straight then up to complete sector 2 into sector 3, turn 11. Another clumsy little left hander. The car will have a tendency to under and oversteer through here, and again all the way through turn 12 as well, which opens up on the exit opposite to turns 1 and 2. Through 13 now onto the back straight. We're ever creasing towards that DRS line. You'll see the boards on either side, nearly at 200 mile an hour already. Opens up the DRS and the top end speed continues to rise. Past the grandstand on the left, brake as late as you can, 70, 80 metres away, lock up there, puff of smoke from the front right, hopefully no damage done, drag the car wide through 15, over to right again for 16, throw the car in full its might into the final corner, straighten up the car on the exit, get the twitchiness out of the way, up to the line, and Pam sets his first lap time in the Ferrari, 32.560, good enough for 5th place at the moment. Chris in 6th, CA993 in 7th, Pam his teammate MTZ in 8th, and we've got John Polainen in 9th place. Louis is out there at the moment, as you can see, just negotiating his way past a slower car that's politely moved over to the right hand side, and a few other drivers as well still yet to set lap times. Good evening to all of you that are slowly trickling in. I know AOR has a lot of races going on right now, and with just 14 here tonight as well, it's good points to be had by all the drivers here tonight if they manage to keep it safe and clean throughout. 9.5 minutes left of the session. Louis completes his first lap in the Williams, 32.762. Everyone at the moment setting their best laps on the hards. No doubt they'll be over to the mediums at some point before the end of the session. So we'll move away from Louis. We'll have a look at NSX Messina in the McLaren, who will be getting a little tow from the Toro Rosso of Nolan Lopez ahead. We've got a few other drivers. Marquez is still in the pits, as is Pablo Jogler as well. So only 14 drivers here tonight. Track space shouldn't be an issue. And Nolan Lopez there just moving out of the way, trying to either get back to the pits or go for another lap, as the McLaren there of Messina just comes past. He's about to come round to start his first flying lap on those hard tyres. A few drivers out there, or one driver out there on the soft tyres. Virsar Marquez is in the Alfa Romeo, as Messina now comes across the line. 8.5 minutes left of this session. So we'll come back to him then, see if anyone else out there is close to finishing a lap. Surface has just started his. Master Racer, I believe, looks like he is in to the left, right-hander there. And Ashbeth saying, I may want to change the title. I wasn't told that I had to change it to anything else. I just copied what was done. If I have made a mistake out there, I do apologise. I wasn't really told what to put up, so apologies for that if I have put the wrong title in there. Faster race event coming up through 15 into 16, and he decides to go straight back into the pits as well. So Drez currently on another flying lap here on those hard tyres. Oh, it says F1 not F2. I do apologise then. My bad indeed, this is F2 not F1, as everyone knows, so yeah, I do apologise for that. So Christian just coming up, he's coming back into the pits as well. He's abandoning that lap on the hard tyres. So we've got a few drivers out there at the moment. Messina as well, where is he in all of this? He's yet to post his first lap time, as he just exits the hairpin now. Coming up into turn 16, does he decide to go into the pits? No, he's going to complete this lap. Oh, running terribly wide through the final corner, maybe invalidation. It's not though, and he manages to post his first competitive time of 32.715. Just puts him a tenth and a half behind his teammate. So both of the McLarens are running okay at the moment, 6th and 7th. Like I said, I've done a little bit of research on the F2 tier. There's only been a couple of races, and I was only told today that I'd be doing this, so I'm not too sure on the overall pace of some of these drivers yet. So hopefully once the race does get underway, we can really see a true pace of some of these guys. So Nolan Lopez at the moment then still has provisional pole. That's Kiski in 2nd, Surface 3rd, Vasta Racer in 4th place. So we've got 3 drivers yet to set a lap time. RC Sam still in the pits. Marquez is now out there on these soft tyres, as is Pablo Joga as well. In fact, he's on the hards. So we might as well go on to what's being fitted now. You can see there that some of the drivers in the pits have already done their banker lap on the hards, and are now planning to go out there towards the end of the session on the mediums. Although Kiski is out there currently in 2nd place. He's opted for a set of soft tyres. Could just be a sighter lap. Try to work out the setup and the grip levels available to him on those tyres. That's Pablo Jogler then now coming up to the left-right into sector 3. Marquez is meanwhile flying through the final corner, completely off the circuit there, and that was an invalidation. He did do a 30.199. That's not the first invalidation he's had either. Pablo Jogler still just coming onto the back straight now. Open to DRS, already well over 200 mile an hour. Plenty of ERS left as well to see out the rest of his lap. As he goes through 15, which isn't really a corner, but apparently it is, and now up to 16 as well. And he'll complete this lap for Renault. Currently 14th without a time. What's it going to be? It's up into 7th place with a 32.626, splitting the two McLarens. And more drivers now you can see in the pits making the change onto the medium tyres. Kiski is an unusual one. He is going for it. Already nearly 6 tenths up on his personal best. So it'll be interesting to see if the Mercedes driver does decide to complete this lap on the soft tyres. Now coming into sector 3, that white line there is the DRS detection point. Be very crucial in the race as well. The best overtaking opportunity for these guys will be into the turn 14 hairpin. And look at this, Kiski is going to get a fantastic tow from the Alfa Romeo ahead. So his top end speed is going to be increasing all the time, and his lap time will be getting better for it as well. The Alfa Romeo jumps out the way at the final second as well, giving Kiski a clear run to the braking zone for the hairpin as well. So Kiski will be buoyed by that. And hopefully if he's nailed the rest of his lap and decide to complete it, he doesn't enter the pits, he comes in. I would have been very surprised if he did decide to complete that lap on the soft tyres. Yeah, you might be taking provisional pole and finally pole position on those tyres as well, but you will be at a bit of a disadvantage with everyone else behind you as well. So it's 4 minutes left of the session. A majority of the cars are still in the pits. A few are out there on out laps at the moment, and this is this lull then towards the end of the session, as all the drivers make little setup changes if they can, decide what tyres to do their best lap on, potentially best lap on, and then hopefully find some track space, go out there for their final run in qualifying to see if they can improve their time. IRT Louis, the highest runner at the moment then on the hard tyres, and he's back out there on the hard tyres, still circulating around actually. It's the same set he had, so he may very well be in the pits at the end of this lap to quickly bolt on the set of mediums. Pablo Jogler has only just come back to the pits, so I assume he'll be changing onto the mediums as well. And I assume Louis will be in as well, although to be honest, second place at the moment on the hard tyres is a good result at the moment, but everyone behind also set times on the hards. Now they're onto the mediums. I assume Louis will be in at the end of this lap. There he goes, straight into the pits, flashing past the camera. He'll have enough time to change onto those mediums as well. So Louis will be on the mediums. Pablo Jogler, if he decides to come out, will go onto the mediums as well. And this will be the desired strategy around China, then mediums onto hards. At our surface then, now negotiating into sector 3. Kiski is immediately back out on circuit. Vastaracer is coming across the line now, so he's going to be the first person I feel on a flying lap. But John Polainen down here as well, where is he in all of this? He's coming through turn 4 and now 5, so he is actually the first car then out there on the medium tyres with his final do or die attempt in qualifying. Still 2 drivers, RC Sam and Marquez have yet to set lap times, but RC Sam is out on circuit. Got yellow flags in sector 1 and sector 2. It's probably a car just going slowly, jumping out the way of another one. John Polainen then on his flying lap. Chris also starting his Vastaracer surface as well. It'll be John Polainen, it'll be the first car across the line. Everyone else now just filtering out of the pits as well. Louis still in the pits, he's running out of time if he wants to come back out. Meanwhile, Pablo Jogler has changed onto the mediums, he's already out on circuit. And I'll be surprised if Louis doesn't decide to come out the pits in the next. I think I've just seen a car leave the pits actually. It is Louis then, so all cars now out on circuit. And John Polainen will be the first car across the line. We might as well change it to detail of best lap time and what tyres they've done, because we know that everyone is out on circuit on the mediums. So John Polainen, first car across the line then. Hopefully he didn't pick up an invalidation for running wide. And the Red Bull driver does take provisional pole at 32.104 by less than 400ths of a second from Nolan Lopez. I think CA was close. No, he's still in sector 2. Vastaracer has got traffic. He won't be enjoying... No, sorry, Pam Drez has got traffic. That's fine. Vastaracer has just taken provisional pole at 31.574. Kiski is a long way back. Surface then, I think, will be the next car across the line. Where's Lopez? He's just starting his lap. So surface, at our surface with the next car across the line. Vastaracer currently on provisional pole, just left then a minute to go. Up to the final corner. He needs to nail this if he wants to improve his lap time. and get anywhere near the front of the field. Across the line he comes. He now takes provisional pole with a 31.529. In the background we've got another car coming across the line. Nolan Lopez will keep an eye on him. CA993 surfaces teammate up into second place. So it's a Haas 1-2 at the moment. Lopez is actually further back. Kiski is in sector 2. Messina is just starting his lap as well. Pam is just coming across the line. So who is going to be the next car across it? And we've got a slow car there. That's CA just taking avoiding action. So where is Sam in all this? He is in the middle of a lap at the moment. Pam is a long way back. Messina is a long way back as well. Quite a few drivers still in sector 1. Kiski then coming down to the hairpin. He might be the next car across the line. 1 second left of the session. That's it. Chris's session is over. He can do no better than 9th on the hard tyres. Kiski then over the line. What can he do? He's now back on provisional pole. A 31.299. That's a very good lap indeed by the Mercedes driver. I see Sam, his teammate, coming down to the hairpin now. Oh, he's got that a little bit wrong now. He's going to be losing a bit of speed through that. Nolan Lopez, his session is now over. 6th place. John Polainen back into the pits. 5th place for him on the medium tyres. Vastarace's session is also over. Here comes RC Sam. His first time laps. Only good enough for 12th place. A 32.861. Messina, the next car across the line, currently outside the top 10. Can he get in? He can. Right up into 5th place. A 31.731. Louis, we know, is a long way back. Pam Drez is getting a lovely tow here from his teammate down the back straight. He'll be thankful for that. As MTZ just jumps out the way at the end then. So can Drez, using that very helpful tow down that kilometre back straight, can he improve his lap time, get himself well up into the order? Marquez sets his best lap time at 31.365. It's only good enough for second. Can the Ferrari get up there? He can't, unfortunately. He cannot improve. And Louis then, I think, is the last car across the line because CA993 has abandoned his final run. And Louis up into 6th place, a 31.607. The top 9 all on the medium tyres. Nolan Lopez in 10th will be on those hards at the start of the race. Here comes 993 then back into the pits. And that will be the qualifying session over. Kiski for Mercedes has taken pole position and will be joined on the front row by Marquez's Alfa Romeo. So just confirmation there of the qualifying session. Kiski with pole position by just over 600ths from VSR Marquez's LR Surface, and CA993 for Haas 3rd and 4th on row 2. Vasta Racer in 5th ahead of Louis Messina, Pablo Jogler and John Polainen in 9th. Nolan Lopez then will be starting this inside the top 10 on the hard tyres. He might be one to keep an eye on in the later part of the race. Drez in 11th place for lead Ferrari ahead of Chris, RC Sam, MTZ, and that's it. Just 14 drivers here. 2 seconds separates the grid. I'm going to take a very short break here, but I'll be with you guys for the formation lap. So here we go. The drivers now on their formation lap at the front of the field. Kiski in the Mercedes. Bastian or Bastien. I think I got that right. I might be wrong. He has joined during the qualifying session. He'll be lining up at the back of the field. So we now have 15 drivers here instead of the 14. So we'll bring up then the tyres. Obviously, as per F1 rules and regulations, those that qualified inside the top 10 will start the race on the tyres they set their best lap on. The top 9 all on the mediums, Nolan Lopez on the hards, and everyone from 11th down to 15 opting to go long in the first stint onto the hard tyres as well. Mediums onto hards, hards onto mediums will be the strategy that all of these drivers should be attempting to do. Of course, they'll all be looking to avoid any incidents on the opening couple of laps that will force them into the pits to fix accident damage, and it will put them off their optimal strategy. And unless there's a virtual safety car or a safety car, they'll find it hard to catch back up and make some noticeable gains in this race. So 2 seconds separated the entire field, although I'm sure in the race it'll be a lot closer as well. Only 15 drivers here tonight. There was a few that dropped out of the race tonight quite early on, letting their intentions know that they will not be here. So it makes my life a little easier, being able to keep an eye on all 15 drivers rather than just 20, as they all now start to weave backwards and forwards down the back straight to try and generate as much tyre temperature as possible. And it's a cascade of silvers and pinks and blues and oranges and yellows down that back straight. Fantastic liveries on all of these cars this year. As they come through now up to turn 16, the final corner, before they take their position here on the grid. Looks like overcast conditions, but it's remaining dry for now. I don't think there is any chance of rain in the race. I could be wrong, we'll have to wait and see. 28 grueling laps here around the Shanghai International Circuit for these drivers. They now take up their positions on the grid for round 3 here in F2. Kiski on the right, Marquez is on the left. Watch out for both the Haas cars in the background as well. Starting 3rd and 4th. Final car now coming into position, and we await for the 5 lights to come on. Here we go then. 5 lights coming on now. Concentration is needed down into the first couple of corners. And Bastian jumps to start immediately, but away they go now, fighting the wheel spin, and it's a good start by Marquez. He might get the jump on Kiski coming into turn 1. Kiski will try and hold this around the outside, and does so, and keeps hold of that lead. Meanwhile, it looks like that CA993 has made a terrible start. He's all the way back in 9th place. LR Surface holding on to 3rd at the moment. Louis in 4th place ahead of Vasta Racer and Messina, and John Polan's made a good start as well, but he's fighting with Pablo Jogler as they run through 5 down into 6. The Renault driver has the inside. John Polane trying it around the outside, but he's gone a bit too deep, and he might lose a couple of positions here as the rest of the field all filter through. Instant free so far, apart from Bastian with the jump start. We've got Nolan Lopez as well, trying to hang it around the outside, coming through the left, now into the right. He's got the inside line. He'll take that position for 9th. Kiski still leads in ahead of Marquez's. Surface, Louis, Vasta Racer, Messina, all the rest of the field all filter through now. Now it's single file traffic. They've all managed to sort themselves out. And we come now onto the back straight for the first of 28 times. Don't be surprised to see cars weaving about, moving left to right to try and break that slipstream toe behind. And it's Kiski coming towards us in the Mercedes. A 6/10 of a second lead ahead of Marquez's already. At our Surface and Louis keeping close behind, and here we go, Pablo Jogler already moving over to the middle of a circuit to try and defend the inside. Are we going to get any moves coming down into turn 14? Oh, we got a racing point here going very sideways into the hairpin. That was Vasta Racer, held onto it just well enough, but he's lost the position to Messina and down into 6th place, and he's got Pablo Jogler hounding the back of that racing point rear wing. Kiski with the fastest lap then, which is no surprise. He was the first one across the line, and I saw a car, Bastian, flashing into the pit lane then, serving his penalty for jumping the start. You know, Pablo Jogler looking very feisty behind this racing point. Vasta Racer's rear tyres might have overheated just a little bit there, sliding into their hairpin. They should be okay now, to be honest with you, and they'll all carry on their merry way. Nolan Lopez has made 1 position up into 9th. We'll have to keep an eye on him because he is on those hard tyres. You know, at the front, Louis just running a little wide there through turn 6. Messina can do nothing about it as they come down into turn 7 and 8. High fuel, following cars in front of you will force those cars to naturally understeer. As you can see there, Messina fighting the wheel, trying to go over to the right for the double left-handers at 9 and 10. Kiski doing everything right so far. Clean first lap, clean lap 2 at the moment. The rest of the field in the background, very close together. Pablo Jogler might think of something into 11, decides to hold back. The rest of the field all filter through as well. John Polani in 10th ahead of Chris in the McLaren. Both the Ferraris of Drez and MTZ behind in 12th and 13th. And it's Sam Bastian a long way back as well. Jump on board with a McLaren. And it's all, look at this, they're all moving over already then to try and break the toe. And up ahead we've got a move. I think it's Louis and Surface duking it out for third place. The Williams driver trying to hang it round the outside, trying to switch back, hasn't worked. And then our Surface will keep hold of that final podium spot for now. It's come through turn 16 then to start lap 3. DRS will now be enabled as the fastest lap continues to tumble as it would do. We've got a Toro Rosso, Nolan Lopez running very wide through the final corner there. And now DRS will be enabled. 2 DRS zones here, main straight and that very long kilometre back straight as well. So we'll probably start to see some of these guys moving about just a little bit more. Kiski still holds on to a lead, but Marquez is only 3 tenths back, and they've dropped 3rd and 4th as well. There's now well over a second, so LR Surface has got to get the hammer down here on this lap if he wants to get in the DRS zone and stay with these leaders. Everyone else behind the 3rd place man all pretty much within a second. So there'll be no overtaking, I don't think, through here. It's pretty much going to be follow the car in front. It's difficult to overtake at China anywhere else apart from the 2 DRS zones. Turn 6 is an opportunity. The entrance to the corner sort of opens up, fans out to you once you take the turn 5 kink. And there's a couple of lines that you can take through that corner. But at the moment, Kiski doing everything right. We've got a Renault in the background running a little while. Pablo Jogler really forcing that car through those corners. And here we go then on board with Louis. I think he's going to have the best opportunity for an early overtake here. Surface really losing a lot of time. The gap is now up to 1.7 between himself and Marquez is in second. Marquez, I think, is too far back to try anything. Finger on the button. Now he's got the DRS. Gaining all the time, but unless it's a do or die attempt in the hairpin, it's not going to happen. Meanwhile, Surface is defending the inside from Louis. We'll jump on board with Messina to see how this move shapes out. Louis going to try and hang it around the outside. Is he going to get better traction? He is, coming through 15. He's now got the inside for 16. I think Surface may have to give this up. Oh, it's close, coming into and out of the final corner, and Louis has taken that 3rd place, and Messina might pounce as well. But look at this, we could very well be 3 wide coming down into turn 1. We are 3 wide. Who's going to lose out in this one? Messina takes a very wide line into 1 to try and get underneath that Haas car coming through too, but he's been blocked very well there by Surface, and he's got to follow through behind as well. You've got Vasta Racer there defending hard from Pablo Jogler as well, and the DRS has now really closed up this sort of a 3rd place battle all the way down to about 7th or 8th. John Polani in 10th has dropped back a little bit, and we had CA993 there try move at turn 6 on Jogler, who saw him late, left him the space, but no move was completed. So these guys are now exploring different avenues, different lines through some of these corners. It'll be a while before we see pit stops, of course. Certainly those on the hard tyres will be looking to go as long as possible. And all of these guys won't be thinking about tyre strategy just yet. It's all about looking after the car as best as you can, keeping out of trouble, not picking up any unnecessary damage or snatching a break and running wide and losing a couple of positions. All of these cars are very close together at the moment. So we'll move further back up then. Louis now 2 seconds behind the leading duo, and he's already dropped LR Surface, who's outside of the DRS range. Here comes Messina then. He's going to compound the misery on the Haas driver. He's lost 3rd place recently, and now might be losing 4th as well. Down into turn 14, late of the late breakers. The McLaren has the inside line. He'll try and move over if he can to block the re-attempted pass from Surface, but he is up the inside then coming into the final corner. Carbon copy of what we saw last lap between him and Louis. And it's all getting very close between these two. We'll jump on board of Surface. He's had to filter back into 5th place, and Vesta Racer is only a couple of attempts behind as well. No other moves further back. So as these guys start to try and calm down a little bit, we'll bring up the position changes in the race so far then. So both Louis and Messina are the biggest gainers. They've made 3 positions up from their grid spot. The biggest loser is CA993, who had a terrible start. He's lost 4 positions, but he's still right there as Pablo Jogler again, very racy down into that turn 6. He seems to feel that that's a good opportunity for him to try and make an overtake. Which will bring up the telemetry so we can see exactly what's going on with sector times and ERS modes as well. And Louis then still losing time to the 2 leaders. Kiski obviously has very good pace in that Mercedes, and Marquez is being helped along by remaining in that 1 second window for DRS. And Louis is not making the gains he probably wanted to. Oh, Messina getting very twitchy coming through 12 and 13. That might give Surface an opportunity behind, and Messina knows that. That's why he's already moving about on the circuit to try and break the toe. He has managed to pick up DRSO from Louis ahead, but I think Surface might try something here into the hairpin. It's not the camera angle I wanted. Hopefully it changes. There we go, up the inside, but the cutback there is going to be from Messina. He's going to try to hang this around the outside on the run to the final corner. It's going to be an interesting move if he manages to pull this off. He is committed to it and running wide off the circuit as well. Might have picked up an ETL warning for that, but he has re-picked that 4th position then ahead of the Haas driver, who's trying to fight back around the outside of 1. It's going to be difficult here to try and find the grip around it. The McLaren is still there up the inside. He'll try and slot back behind. Maybe try something through 3 and 4. And there's another opportunity as well down into 6. Depends on what exit these guys can get. And Messina had a very good exit actually compared to Surface. So that battle for 4th position remains in the McLaren's favour for now. Oh, and Pablo Jogler, there he goes. It's the 3rd attempt he's had at trying to get past Vasta Racer into turn 6. And at the 3rd attempt he's finally managed to do it. But the Racing Point is not giving this up easy. Trying to hang it in there around 7. But he's had to slot in behind the Renault. So Pablo Jogler finally managed to get the move done up into 6th place. Can he do anything about the Haas car in 5th ahead? Lap 6 of 28. The laps are starting to tumble away, but all of his cars still very close together. Ash Best in the chat there, very happy with that one. Great helicopter shot here. The long right hand up through 12 and 13. Fantastic shot to see as the rest of the field all now filter back on to the back straight. A few stragglers at the back, RC Sam and one of the Ferraris and the McLarens as well, struggling to stay with this pack. Louis in 3rd. Oh, and that's a bit sideways from Pablo Jogler, and contact there as well with the Haas. And Vasta Racer is going to try this up the inside again. And Pablo manages to hold on to it, so he's really hustling and bustling that Renault car as Messina in clear air sets a new fastest lap. And these guys from about 4th and 5th all the way down to about 10th and 11th really scrapping hard here. And Pablo Jogler there in 6th place, really pushing that car. Look, they've all taken different lines through turn 1 and 2. Oh, contact there. Nolan Lopez put his car in the position he probably really shouldn't have been in. He only really had the front wing up the inside of Vasta Racer, and Vasta Racer was right in sticking to his line and not giving the space. He might try something into 6. It'll be a do-or-die attempt. Bit of a cheeky dive bomb, but decides better of it. Slots it back into place. John Polani on the medium tyres, just keeping a watchful eye on this battle. So Pablo Jogler certainly bringing the entertainment value in the early laps here. Putting some good moves on and then almost throwing it all away with a wild slide at the hairpin. The McLaren ahead of Messina runs just a little wide, and then Pablo Jogler does exactly the same as well. Not the first time we've seen him abuse those curbs coming out of the double left-hander. So Marquez's and Kiski, we'll have a look at them quickly. As you can see, the gap isn't really changing. It changes about a 10th or 2 every lap, but Marquez is, I think at the moment, quite happy to follow in the slipstream. Louis in 3rd position is now starting to get the attentions of Messina behind. And he's starting to bring the rest of the field through as well. They're all locking up a little bit going into their hairpin. Is Pablo Jogler going to keep it clean this lap? He does, and keeps hold of that 6th place. Just ahead of CA193, who runs very wide through the final corner. These guys really pushing these cars in the early laps here. Vasta Racer pushed down to 8th. And Nolan Lopez is there. He's only in 9th place, our championship leader, but remember he qualified in 10th place on the hard tyres, and the fact he's hanging with these guys on the mediums is only good news for him later on this race, because everyone ahead of him will be switching onto the hard tyres in a handful of laps. He'll be going long on those hard tyres and then switching onto the mediums himself, so he'll have better grip and better speed towards the end of this race. And it's a long, patient game for Nolan Lopez at the moment. He just needs to stick with his guys, not do anything drastic, not put the car in dangerous positions and throw what could be a positive result out of the window. He's quite happy to just circulate at the moment in 9th. In this battle then from 6th all the way down to 12th place. MTZ for whatever reason is a few seconds off. He's got RC Sam behind him. And Bastian, we haven't really spoke much about him. He's a long way back. Pitted at the end of lap 1 to serve a penalty for jumping the start. It's going to be difficult for him to make any real gains in this race. Meanwhile, on this lap, Marquez has closed by a couple of attempts. and continues to do so with the DRS down into the braking zone for the turn 14 hairpin. He's very good on the brakes as well compared to Kiski. And meanwhile, we've got a lot of overtakes back here. What's happening here? CA993 is ahead of Pablo Jogler, and Nolan Lopez has decided potentially this is the time when he has to start pushing now, as he's managed to get past Vasta Racer, as Marquez sets a new fastest lap, a 1:35.415. And of course, if you finish in the top 10, an extra World Championship point is yours if you set the fastest lap. So into lap 9 now of 28, these drivers on the medium tyres will start to feel the graining effects ever so slightly, certainly as they're pushing as much as they can. It might just increase the tyre wear rates just a little bit. And Nolan Lopez in 8th place, now trying to close the gap to the Renault of Pablo Jogler ahead, who in turn is busy trying to get or repass that Haas of CA993. The field is starting to spread out just a little bit. You can see there this Haas one is almost 2 seconds behind his teammate, and LR Surface in 5th is out of DRS range. But Messina has risen up well into 4th place, and he's now hustling and bustling that Williams of IRT Louis ahead of him, so we could have a change for 3rd position at the end of this back straight. We'll have to keep an eye on everyone further behind as well that's close together. Messina seems to have good pace, just getting his drift on, coming through 12 and 13. That wouldn't have done his tyres or his top end speed any good as well, and you can see there that that gap is increased a little bit by a few tenths. So even with the DRS, he's going to be way too far back, as you can see, to try anything into the hairpin. Nolan Lopez is the closest to anyone ahead of him, just ducking out a little bit, trying to unsettle Pablo Jogler coming into the braking zone, trying to make that beautiful livery Toro Rosso loom large in the Renault's rearview mirrors. And we have pit stops ahead by the looks of it. Some of the medium runners are taking this opportunity at the end of lap 9 to pit. Messina and LR Surface are the first to blink, so they will tumble down the order, making the change, I would assume, onto the hard tyres. And that's promoted a whole host of drivers further up the order indeed. Messina and Surface going on to the hard tyres, which will now carry to the end of this race. And this will be go time, I think, now for Nolan Lopez. This will be the time when he should think about pushing a little bit to try and gain a couple of extra positions if he can, because he doesn't want to start losing time behind these guys with their graining medium tyres. Marquez, meanwhile, is now under half a second away from Kiski, so I think he's starting to apply a little bit of pressure to our race leader as well. And IRT Louis can breathe a sigh of relief, because he was in danger of losing that 3rd position to Messina, but he's got to be wary that Messina's jumped into the pits, and he'll be worried that the McLaren driver's going to do an undercut on him. So I think Louis might be in at the end of this lap. As for Kiski and Marquez's, it'd be a case of if one pits, the other one doesn't. And Pablo Jogler there just away back. Bastian has decided to leave the session. Whether he's had the blue screen of death or he's decided that he's too far back after his jump start, he doesn't wish to continue pounding round for the remainder of this race. So we now have lost our first driver, only 14 remaining. Nolan Lopez again thinking about a move. Do either of the leaders pit? I think they've both carried on. Louis might pit though. Yep, he does, and he's only pitting really to try and cover off the attack from Messina, who's now on a fresh set of hard tyres. We've also got moves further back. Pablo Jogler and Vasta Racer also in the pits as well. So Nolan Lopez, Drez and Chris, who all started on those hard tyres, now up into 4th, 5th and 6th. And John Polonen picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He very well may be serving that in this pit stop. Don't know, to be honest. It looks like they've turned around the car pretty quickly. All drivers going onto the hard tyres. And Messina then, is he going to get the jump? He does. He does successfully do the undercut on Louis. So Messina is in a net 3rd place then. Obviously nailed the outlap on those hard tyres. And it'll be a sight for sore eyes for Louis now as he sees that orange McLaren ahead of him on track. He knows that if he wants to get back up into 3rd place, he's got to do this the hard way with an overtake on track. Marquez is then just nearly 7 tenths away from Kiski. The CA993 will also be thinking about a pit stop soon. And once all they do pit, Nolan Lopez will be the net leader at the moment. Pam Drez in 2nd. Chris will be in 3rd. These guys, there's now some gaps are now starting to form between some of them. Obviously, as some of these drivers have pitted, so most of them will be out of DRS range. In fact, all of the guys from 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th all out of DRS range. We'll have a look at the leaders again. See what they decide to do. We'll jump on board with the Alfa Romeo. Does that Mercedes decide to pit ahead? He doesn't. Marquez does. So Marquez is going to try and do to Kiski what Messina managed to do to Louis, and that's pit a lap early onto the hard tyres, nail the outlap and go to try and get the undercut. The Haas of CA993 also in the pits as well, so the order in the top 10 will ever change. Yeah, it's just Kiski then, the only runner on those medium tyres. He will almost certainly be in at the end of this lap, or he will be in danger of losing the net lead. Back at the pits he comes in. I think Messina and Louis will get the jump on him. They're both very close together. Look at this, from somewhere Louis has closed right up, and he's trying it into turn 1 as well. On board of the Williams driver will switch to the McLaren. Look at that, he has managed to take the move, and he's managed to defend the inside to stop Messina from having the cutback coming through turn 2. So Messina looked quick against Louis at the end of the medium stint and at the beginning of the hard stint. The roles are reserved. It's Louis now that's got the fire underneath him, and he's now managed to move up ahead of the McLaren up into 8th place. Still a whole host of drivers yet to make a pit stop ahead though, and all eyes are going to be on the Mercedes of Kiski to see if he can hold off the undercut challenge from Marquez's Alfa Romeo here. At 12 of 28, almost at half distance. 14 runners left. Bastian's car is still circulating, but we know he's left the session. I see Sam, haven't seen much of him. Sounds like he's got that over-revving glitch that was a common curse in previous F1 titles, as he continues to give chase to NTZ ahead. So we'll look at Kiski then. Into the pits he comes in. Number 81 AMG Mercedes. Don't speed into the pits, don't speed, don't speed. Nicely slowed down. Straight in, first pit box garage, nice and easy, onto the hard tyres. And now we'll see where PSR Marquez's will be in all of this. Kiski then has already been serviced, trundling down the pit lane as MTZ and RC Sam, his teammate, go ahead. Here comes Marquez's, will jump on board. There is the Mercedes driver, and Marquez's has got to try and do this around the outside, not the camera angle I wanted. Will cut away. This is going to be crucial. This is for the net lead of the race, and I think Kiski has just managed to hold on to it. But look behind, Louis and Messina have closed right up as well. They pitted a couple of laps before these guys, so they would have had a couple of extra laps to post some quick times in on these fresh hard tyres. So we do have now really the top 4 of Kiski, Marquez's, Louis and Messina now running almost nose to tail. Drez, Chris, MTZ and RC Zam, we know, are not really fighting for a race win or a podium, but Nolan Lopez may very well will be. Once he pits, he'll fall behind all of these guys, but then he'll be on a set of medium tyres, which you know he can push harder than these guys towards the end of the race. So Nolan Lopez is not out of this. He's a dark horse for a podium and potential race win, but he needs to look after these hard tyres as much as possible. Try and push him in this stint as far as he can, because the further he goes in these hard tyres and keeps the lap times quick and consistent, the harder he can push the mediums. RC Sam very close to the back of MTZ coming into the braking zone. Might try it up the inside, thinking about it, and decides better of it further back as well. Marquez is looking again up the inside of Kiski, but he's got to be careful because Louis behind him at Williams is looking very racy on these hard tyres. We've also got the Haas cars very close together in 10th and 11th, scrapping over the final point. And our surface just ahead of his teammate at the moment, both of them running very wide through the final corner, as you've seen a lot of tonight. And these two are not giving an inch or a quarter. Team orders do not apply in this team apparently. They are scrapping it over 10th and 11th. CA993 around the outside of the inside for 3, and that is not a bad move, to be honest with you. Hung it around the outside against his teammate, had to make sure he gave enough space as well, and he's managed to complete the move coming out of 3 and 4, and he moves himself up into 10th place. Meanwhile up front Chris has managed to get past Drez somewhere. So both the hard drivers with Pablo Jogler watching on behind, battling hard and fair. As Messina in 9th is not enjoying these hard tyres for whatever reason. He's now dropped out of DRS range against Louis, who's really got the bit between their teeth now in 8th place, giving chase to Marquez's and Kiski ahead. Meanwhile, coming down the back straight, Pam Drez is close to Chris, but not close enough to try and move. RC Sam against the second Ferrari. Let's see if he can gain coming down the main straight. Or we'll come off the camera angle because he's got the over revving glitch. He's gaining all the time, harvesting a bit of ERS down the straight as well. Decides against a move. Meanwhile, in the background, Marquez and Louis are scrapping over this 7th and 8th place. Louis went deep into the hairpin and Marquez says, thank you very much, I'll keep hold of that position. Marquez doesn't want Louis to be fighting him. Marquez wants to be left alone so he can focus on the Mercedes of Kiski ahead, because all this battling is allowing Nolan Lopez to increase that gap just a little bit. Gap to the leader then. Kiski is nearly 13 seconds behind Nolan Lopez at the moment. So obviously Nolan Lopez, when he rejoins, will tumble down the order. He will be around where Messina is, I think, or just behind Messina. But then he will be on a very quick set of medium tyres. So 69 Alfa Romeo of Marquez is holding on to 7th place for now. Louis in 8th giving chase. So lap 15 of 28, coming out of turn 13, the long right-hander down this kilometre back straight. He'll have DRS against his teammate, and RC Sam does not have DRS against MTZ, so this should be a cool, calm, as you like move against his teammate up into 5th position. And Marquez is going to try and force his way through as well. He wants to stay with Kiski as much as he can and not lose time behind the teammate. And Kiski does manage to get away. Marquez up as well. So we've got drivers in the pits then. Nolan Lopez, Chris and Pam MTZ all coming off of those hard tyres, going on to the mediums. So we just wait for RC Sam in 5th and Drez, who's our now leader of this race, to make their pit stop onto the medium tyres. Nolan Lopez, we'll have a look, see where he is in all this. He's in turn 2, 2.5 seconds behind Vasta Racer. So now the pressure's on Nolan Lopez and Chris as well in 12th, who's right behind the Toro Rosso, to see if they can slowly start to catch these guys and move up the order. But there's a handful of cars ahead. RC Sam and Drez we can probably take out of contention. They will pit and be behind Nolan Lopez. So Lopez looking at a net 9th at the moment. But you'll see those interval times slowly diminish with each passing corner, sector and lap, as he now starts to give chase on lap 16 of 28 to try and claw back as many positions as he can. Messina still not in DRS range of RC Sam, who's hanging on bravely on those hard tyres. But Louis is away, Marquez is as well. Marquez is back up underneath DRS range then against Kiski. He's not close enough to try anything into the hairpin this time. No one is close enough, to be honest. And this lap Nolan Lopez has already taken out 6 tenths on Vasta Racer. At the turn 14 hairpin for the 16th time. And jump on board with the Williams driver. As Messina manages to get past Sam, because Sam is in the pits and so is Drez as well. So this then will be the true order once these two rejoin the circuit. Haas car started 3rd and 4th, now running in 5th and 6th. Nolan Lopez now up to 9th, and he is gaining on Vasta Racer at a quick rate of knots. He's already gained a 2nd in the previous lap. So Kiski, Marquez and Louis all close together, all will be getting DRS as well. Well, Marquez and Lewis will be. And Kiski will be a bit worried down that back straight. These two will be increasing their top speed with their letterbox opening on that rear wing. They've got a good gap back to Messina, who's really not enjoying life on these hard tyres, and he's actually been caught by both the Haas cars. And Pablo Jogler is hanging on as well, and then there's Vasta Racer just a second behind, and Nolan as well catching as well, and then behind him Chris and Drez have all just made pit stops onto the medium tyres. So I think this midfield bunch from probably 4th down to 10th and 11th will slowly start to close up with each lap that goes by. Certainly as these medium runners start to put their advantage of running on these tyres to good use. Louis then just 5 tenths away from Marquez's, who's also got DRS from Kiski. So these three will remain in this order, coming up to the line unless one of them throws it off the road. And Louis again very late on the brakes. Messina still holding on to that 4th. And Nolan Lopez then is now right up behind Vastaracer already. So in 2 laps he gained by 2.5 seconds. And now he's in the dirt yet. Now this is going to start unsettling, unbalancing the front of that car. So as soon as he gets within DRS range with the car in front, he's got to make the move as quick as possible. Sets a new fastest lap at 33.688. Thinking about it into turn 1. Vastaracer actually left him a bit of space there. But even I think that Nolan Lopez was just a bit too far back to try something through 1 and 2. He's got to be careful as well. He'll be better on the brakes and better coming out the corner as well. But he doesn't want to give a love tap to any cars in front of him and pick up any sort of front wing damage. Just tucking back into the slipstream and out again. Do this the hard way. Heavy braking into turn 6. Might try to cut back on exit. Vastaracer is wise to that. Just moving over a little bit. Chris has left the session. His McLaren has ghosted. He was running well in 10th place, so I don't think that's a disconnection that is his own fault. I think something has happened there and he's lost connection to the lobby. Hopefully he can get back in sooner rather than later, because he's in a good position for a handful of points. 3 leaders, nothing has really changed between them. Oh, and there you go, there's the first love tap. Nolan Lopez has to be careful, too many of them, and he'll start taking bits off his front wing, which will absolutely ruin the handling of the car. And look at the tighter line he can take through 12 and 13 by being on those medium tyres. He's already alongside, he'll have the DRS as well, so this is a move that Vastaracer has already lost. You can see there that as the DRS opens, the Toro Rosso just pulls away all the time, coming into the braking zone for 14. And that's Nolan Lopez, your championship leader, up into 8th place. His next target is the very feisty Pablo Jogler, who's busy trying to catch and pass LR Surface for 6th. He's now lost ground to his teammate as he's busy battling with Messina for 4th place. So these guys are now starting to form their own little battles. Chris in the pits again, so I can only assume he's picked up damage or something because he's left the session. Doesn't even look like he's got a front wing on that car, to be honest. So it looks like he's having a front wing change or something is going on here. For whatever reason then Chris has left the session. So we've lost 2 drivers then. Kiski still carrying on, lap 19 of 28. Into the final third of this race now. All he's got to do is just keep it smooth and keep it clean, because Marquez's can't get really any closer than this, and the same for Louis as well in 3rd. They continue to drop Messina behind. And these little battles are now starting to form. We've got a 3-way battle for the lead, a 2-car battle for 4th and 5th, and a good 4-car battle it seems here for 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. And Nolan Lopez gaining all the time on those medium tyres. He gets great purchase and traction through this long right-hander as well. You can see there's already taken a couple of attempts just in those last couple of corners. We'll jump on board with the Toro Rosso driver. Pablo Jogler has got DRS ahead. So it'll be difficult now for Nolan Lopez to put a move on. It's going to be a late move up the side. It's a very late move, and Jogler sees him. Pablo Jogler sees him and jumps out the way a little bit, allowing Nolan Lopez through into 7th. Good awareness by the Renault driver, because Nolan Lopez came from quite a long way back there, but he saw him early enough and kept off the racing line and allowed the Toro Rosso through. So that's 2 moves done now in the last 2 laps. His next target is the first of the 2 hard cars of LR Surface. He's already in DRS range, and once he passes him, he'll spend a couple of laps trying to catch up to the battle for 4th between Messina and CA993. At 20 of 28. So far, not a lot is going on. It's pretty much follow the car in front. All these cars on the hard tyres. The only difference in the tyres is just a couple of laps, so they're all pretty much the same on grip. And they'll all be the same now as they will at the end of the race. The only anomaly in that is, of course, the medium runners. Well, I think the 2 Ferraris of Drez and MTZ are off the pace a little bit. Well, MTZ is 14 seconds behind his own teammate. So Drez is trying to do something to gain a couple of more positions. He's now up behind Vastaracer for 9th. But Nolan Lopez is certainly the one that's on a move. So we jump on board again with the Toro Rosso, getting a good exit through 13. And LR Surface will not have DRS. So this should be a pretty simple move past the Haas driver. Side view here, as Nolan Lopez does make a fairly easy move up into 6th place. Meanwhile, up ahead, CA993 and Messina are into battle over 4th and 5th. And an inside line for 16 as well. So 2 changes there. Nolan Lopez up to 6th. And CA993 up into 4th as well. But the top 3 have streaked away. They're in their own little personal battle, and Marquez is very close there to the back of Kiski. Only a couple of attempts behind now. If he gets a better exit through here, he might try something through 5 and into 6. But again, Kiski with a very good exit. No need to defend into 6 unless Marquez is feeling bold and brave. And these 3 remain in position for now. Messina hanging on in 5th place, but there is Nolan Lopez. He'll be right behind these 2 down the back straight, and that seems to be the most popular choice for him to put these moves on. Surface, Pablo Jogler, Drez and Vasta Racer remaining inside the top 10. Drez in fact has managed to get past Vasta Racer somewhere. I've missed it, apologies. Too busy focusing on the guys in the top half of the field. So this time by Louis is quite close to the back of Marquez's. 4 attempts back. And you'll gain as well with the DRS. Too far back to try something. Meanwhile, further back, let's have a look at Nolan Lopez. He is a lot closer to Messina. He might try something into the hairpin. If he wants to try and make some moves, he's got to do it. And again, it's a late move up the inside. And again, the car that Nolan Lopez is trying to pass does give him the space. And Messina will not be able to fight back through 15 into 16. So the McLaren driver has to slot into position. And Nolan Lopez now up into 5th place. It's been a good drive so far by our championship leader. Started the race in 10th, the only driver inside the top 10 on the hard tyres. Kept it clean at the start, looked after the tyres, stuck with the medium runners. Was at the front of the field for a couple of laps when everyone ahead of him pitted. And then he made the change onto the medium tyres. And now all the cards are in his hand. He knows that he's got quicker tyres, fresher tyres. And it's going to be up to Nolan Lopez to see how high he can rise up the order. Jump on board again with the Toro Rosso. Just see how he tackles turns 7 and 8. Nice and smooth over to the right for the double left of 9 and 10. You kind of want to do this in one smooth movement if you can. Try and keep the speed and the grip up. A little twitchy on the exit. See the cars there bouncing, the rear of the car bouncing over the bumps. Coming down into turn 11. Tighter line through 11. Just allowing the car to drift naturally wide through 12. Careful putting the power on. You don't want to spin the car up on the rear. And CA knows he's coming under threat then from Nolan Lopez. And immediately moves over to the right hand side to try and break the toe. Then back over onto the racing line. Nolan Lopez, a late move up the inside again. It's going to be 3 for 3. And CA993 does see him. Although he's going to try and fight back on exit, but I don't think he's got a hope in hell of keeping up the inside. He is though. He's going to stick it in there and he's going to force Nolan Lopez wide, and CA had to take avoiding action a little bit over the inside curve and picks up a 3-second time penalty for his troubles. And Nolan Lopez feels a need to defend into turn 1 as the Haas drivers DRS around the outside as well. This is a great battle for 4th and 5th, and Nolan Lopez won't be happy about this because the longer this goes on, the more time he's losing to the 3 at the front. This is a great battle. This started at turn 14 and it's carrying on all the way through turn 4. Now turn 5, Nolan Lopez there with the inside, the preferred line into turn 6, almost coming into contact in the braking zone. I don't think CA can hold it around the outside. He's going to try though, but I think he's now got to slot back into position. No, he's still there up the inside. This is great battle, and Nolan Lopez loses out. The Haas driver keeps that 4th position. He's not going to give up the position. He's going, no sir, I will not give up these 12 points. I will fight with a few laps left to go for as many points as I can. And this is going to be increasingly frustrating for Nolan Lopez. 4.5 seconds now between the Haas CA993 and Louis ahead, and he's running out of sectors and laps to try and catch up to the top 3. He's going to get a second bite of the cherry again with the DRS. A much tighter line through 12 and 13. He's a lot closer this time as well, so he should have this move done. In fact, he's already passed really even before the DRS is activated, and CA jumps back underneath the rear wing to try and get a toe. Really think about a do or die attempt into the hairpin. He won't. I think he's finally given up in that position, and Nolan Lopez has lost quite a bit of time now, well over 1.5 seconds in that lap alone, fighting with the Haas driver. But a good battle it was as well. 5 laps to go, including the one that all of his guys are now starting. And Marquez is still a few tenths behind Kiski, and Louis very close as well. So these 3 are ever closening up. And we'll keep an eye on Nolan Lopez as Pam MTZ has either crashed or gone into the pits. He's let's have a look here. We'll jump aboard a jumper line then to try and see the Ferrari. There it is ahead, pulling over. So I think Pam MTZ there has retired on track, and then his AI car has taken over and obviously pulled the car in a safe place. Bastian, we know, left the session early on. Chris is he's left the session as well. So jumper line then is our 12th and final runner. Meanwhile, Louis and Kiski are into battle. I don't really want this order, and Marquez has taken the lead as well. So whilst all that was going on at the back, we've had an absolute change of position at the front. Marquez has taken the lead, all running wide there through 11, and Kiski's got to get right back on the rear wing of this Alfa Romeo if he wants any chance to retake this lead. And Louis is looking feisty as well behind. And Marquez moving over to the right hand side then. Kiski is not close enough with the DRS, although he's gaining quite quickly down the back straight. Is he going to try a desperation lunge into the hairpin? He won't, but he's going to lock up the front right in doing so. And in all of this, Nolan Lopez has caught over a second this lap as well, so we've had a change for the lead finally. Marquez's patience has paid off, and he's into the lead of this race. Lap 25 of 28, just 4 laps to go. Now the pressure is on all three of his guys. One big mistake, we'll see their chances of a race win disappear in a flash. And they've got to be wary as well that Nolan Lopez is catching. So can Kiski get a better exit through 4 and 5? He can't, just fiddling with the ERS modes. And Marquez doing a good job at the moment, now taking the lead of this race. Can he hold on to it though? The pressure will now be on the Alfa Romeo driver. He's done the hard bit, getting past. Now can he stay there? Nolan Lopez, meanwhile, still gaining 3.2 seconds. I think he might just run out of time here. He might on the final lap be in DRS range, but I don't think he'll be close enough to try and move, but not for the want of trying. CA now dropping back in 5th place. Oh, Nolan Lopez running a little wide there. And at the front they are very close together. We'll come back to them in a few seconds, just see what's going on back here. Messina holding down 6th at the moment. He's the meat in that hard sandwich, and Pam Drez in 8th, hoping to try and do something to move up the order. So we'll jump again on board with Louis. No, we'll jump on board with Kiski. How close is he? Not close enough, I don't think. He's going to gain and gain all the time down into the hairpin. And Louis as well. Oh, contact there. I think Marquez braked just a little bit too early. Caught out Kiski and it then caught out Louis as well. Has he got damage on that front right? We'll have a look. It seems okay. I didn't really get a good view of it. Meanwhile, up ahead then, I think Marquez ran wide coming out the final corner, and he's going to have to defend into turn 1. Kiski's going to attack round the outside with the DRS as well. This is as close as you like. We'll jump on board with Louis. He's going to give us the perfect view. Marquez trying to give him the squeeze, does so as well, and this might give Louis an opportunity to do the switchback here on Kiski. And this is when the elbows come out. This is when caution is thrown to the wind. 3 laps to go. No point hanging around now. If you get a sniff of an opportunity to get past, you're going to take it. And you can see how hard Kiski is pushing as well. Just 3 laps to go. He's desperate to retake the lead of this race. Meanwhile, Nolan Lopez is now just 2 seconds back, so he may very well catch these guys towards the end of lap 27. In fact, he's just taken half a second in the last 5 or 6 seconds. Look at that, jumping on board of a Toro Rosso driver. He can see the leader, not just only the guy in 3rd place, but he can see 2nd and 1st as well. And Nolan Lopez, oh, that's a desperation lock up there. And Louis running wide ahead as well. So these guys are now starting to make mistakes. And Louis left the session. The red X came up, and I think Louis has lost connection. That has killed his opportunity for a podium, and it's a gift to Nolan Lopez. He'll be immediately up into the podium positions on the exit of the hairpin, and RRT Louis, unless he can get back in the session, is going to tumble down the order. So Nolan Lopez, there we go, now through the ghosted Williams up into 3rd place, just 1.7 seconds behind Kiski, who's not giving up the charge. That 27 of 28, just 2 laps to go for these guys. Further back, from about 5th place down, it is follow the leader. They'll all be moving up a position in the next couple of laps unless Louis can rejoin the session. Paris Burrell coming in saying it's a dogfight for the win. And if he's not in the session, he gets no points apparently. So even if he disconnects at the end, if you're not here, if you finish inside the top 10, you get nul points. Meanwhile, Messina is now demoting Louis down to 6. So there's an opportunity here for all of his guys to move up, jump on board again with the Mercedes driver. And I think Marquez has done enough here, to be honest. He's stuck to that Mercedes all throughout this race. I don't think Kiski has got an opportunity to get past me or Nolan Lopez. He really needed to be in DRS range this lap. Doesn't look like it's happening. Messina, CA looks safe in 4th. Messina safe in 5th. Surface is coming under threat from Dres now. We haven't seen much of either of the Ferrari drivers. One of them's out. The other one is flying the flag for the Scuderia. You might have an opportunity here with the DRS. Coming out of the long right-hander now onto the back straight. Esther Racer demotes Louis another position. And Surface then over to the right-hand side. Making it clear to Dres, if you're going to overtake me, you're going to have to do this the hard way. Around the outside into the turn 14 hairpin. Both drivers giving each other a lot of space. And Dres will be able to get the power down earlier and better on those medium tyres. And it is a good move through 15 and 16. Up into 6th place then for the Ferrari driver. I don't think he can do anything about Messina ahead. And C8 is busy defending from him. Kiski though is closing the gap again. He's just a couple of attempts behind Marquez's now. This is the last lap, lap 28 of 28. There's 2 opportunities, one of them coming up now, turn 6, but he's too far back. So the one and only do or die attempt will be coming out of turn 12 and 13 down the long back straight into 14. That will be the real only opportunity he's got. Nolan Lopez is still not in DRS range. And I think his tyres, he's been pushing so hard with his overtakes as well. I think he's taken a lot of life out of it. Kiski then half a second behind. Marquez just running a little wide there through the double left-hander. The pressure is now on the driver. And Nolan is now in DRS range. But again, I still think he's too far back. It's going to be crucial who gets the better exit through it. Oh, a little bit of a lag spot there from Marquez's. That wouldn't have helped Kiski. So who gets the better exit through here? To be honest, it looks about the same. And Marquez immediately moving over to the right hand side. He knows that if he comes out of this hairpin clearly in the lead, all he's got to do is not mess up the final corner. And here comes Kiski then. Is he going to try? He has to try. If he wants to race win here tonight, he's got to try this around the outside. Is he going to try to switch back? I don't know if he's got enough grip to do so. No, Marquez is holding on. Kiski has got one last do or die attempt. It won't work coming out the final corner. And VSR Marquez is a great move towards the end. Crosses the line. Picks up the race win. Kiski in second. Nolan Lopez completes the podium. Messina gets ahead of CA993 due to penalties and promotes Dres into 3rd place as well. LR Surface in 7th, Faster Racer 8th, Pablo Jogler in 9th. Louis does finish in 10th, but he has left the session, which means that RC Sam, a long way back in 11th place, will pick up the final point unless John Palanen can do something about it, but he's way too far back. So one Mercedes driver just missed out on the win, the other one has been gifted a point due to Louis disconnecting from the session. And that is it, our final driver, John Palanen, across the line in P12. So congratulations then to our top 3. VSR Marquez is piloting that Alfa Romeo to a fantastic race win and the 25 points of a late move there on Kiski towards the end. Commiserations for him, 2nd place. I think he'll be a bit disappointed. He thought he would have done enough for the win. And Nolan as well. Good fight back through the field on the opposite strategy. Some good daring bold overtakes towards the end to pick up the final podium position. So there we go then. There is the final classification. A 3-second time penalty for CA993 drops him down a couple of positions to 6th. And 4th place then was Messina in the McLaren, who looked strong early on the medium tyres but faded away a little bit on the hards. Pam Dres in 5th for Ferrari. The sole Ferrari picking up some useful points. Both hards started 3rd and 4th, finished 6th and 7th. Surface behind his teammate. Vesta Racer in 8th, ahead of Pablo Joglar, who looked very aggressive early on. ILR2 Louis, unfortunately, we have to discount. He disconnected before the end of the session. So RC Sam, 31 seconds behind the race winner, picks up the final point. few seconds ahead of John Polainen, who had an unserved 5-second penalty. Chris and I, Bastian, left the session at various points, and Pam MTZ was a late retirement. That is it then. That is the final classification, and therefore the stream now comes to an end. I've enjoyed this stream tonight. I'm sure that you'll have your regular F2 commentators back next season. But thank you everyone that has joined in at various points of the evening and left some various comments that I've read out. My name is Alex Lilliart. Thank you very much to everyone that has tuned in, and hopefully you have enjoyed the stream as much as I have. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.